Okay, so we should be recording now. Okay, good. So Soledad Tanner is the founder and CEO of STC Consulting, a financial and business consulting firm that helps improve the profit and productivity of businesses. STC Consulting has solutions for corporations, for FCO on demand, for controller on demand, and she's also a financial speaker. For business owners and startups, she has financial management, financial coaching, training, business consulting, and bookkeeping services. Soledad Tanner is an outstanding international consultant and an award winner and a global financial business consultant and speaker with over 30 years of extensive international experience in finance and controlling, strategy and consulting, performance and metrics in the global logistics and banking industries. She received a bachelor's in business administration with an emphasis on management from the Universidad Católica de Santiago de Guayaquil in Ecuador in 1995, and a master's in international business in 2002 at the University of St. Thomas. And she also received a certificate of organizational leadership from Rice University in 2007. I could rattle on about all of the awards that she's won because she's prolific in getting these awards. But I do want to give her the floor and to ask Sophia to please ask the very first question of Soledad.
Super.
Absolutely. I'm pulling it up right now. I'm so sorry.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I really like this, and I wish we would have had that something like this in the years in the past. So this is great because we get to hear from ourselves, and it feels close to the heart. So here we go, Sophia.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Soledad. So most of us in here are students. So could you tell us a little bit about your educational background? What made you want to pursue higher education?
Mm-hmm. So as Bonnie said, I was born and raised in Ecuador, South America. The country is a small country, has 15 million people, and I come from a city called Guayaquil, which has like 5 million people. It's a sister city from Houston. It's a port city. It's hot, humid. It has tons of commerce and business. My as when I was growing up, I wasn't sure what to study, and I was between medicine and business. But I was really good with money since I was a child. My mom, I will always be counting the money and saving the money. So I decided after probably a year of being undecided to go through business. So my background is I'm an engineer with a triple major on economics, business, and auditing science, and it's a career that in Ecuador takes 6 years to do it. And I many people since the very beginning were not a fan of the option because it was too long and or longer than the average short career, and they thought that I was going to maybe not finish, and I was either you grad in Ecuador, either you graduate or you don't. It's not here like in the US that you can get an associate and you get something and then you move into a bachelor and you get another degree. So if you can go 5 years and end up with no degree, but I fell in love with the materials, the subjects, and I started working when I was 17 years old in banks in a very basic task, and I love them. I love the money, I love the macroeconomics, I love the statistics, I love the idea of the reproducing money, and I kept it was hard because I was a full-time student and a full-time worker, and in Ecuador we didn't have scholarships that here in the US we're blessed to have support from federal funds and sometimes private funds. In other countries, you don't have that, so you have to work if you want to study. So it's very difficult. And also, when I finished, I started hearing about a program called MBAs, masters, and very. It was a dream that it was so far away from where I was, and there were no MBAs in Ecuador. So one day I woke up and I said I want an MBA, and I didn't know how or when to get it. So life has a way to help you get to at least to where you can start, closer to your dream. So I ended up in Houston, and after 2 years of trying to find my way through what is a credit hour, what is a FAFSA, what is an application, why do I have to, what do you mean? Don't I just walk over there and sign myself into the class? How do I get referral letters if I don't have know anybody in the US? So as an immigrant coming to the US, the challenges were not only the subject itself, studying, but it was the financial aspect, the getting to understand the system, and studying a foreign language. And at that time, we didn't have Google, so I'm not like Lisa. I'm not going to say the year. We had dictionaries, so I was studying with the book and with dictionary next to it. And but I'm very proud that after 4 years, took me 4 years to finish. I was taking just one class per semester, little by little, and I graduated with my master in international business from the University of St. Thomas, and then I went on into to Rice to continue with additional education for um, to always continue to study as I was part of a global company that required more knowledge.
Wow, what an incredible, I mean, I know a lot of us are, it's so daunting when it comes to FAFSA. You have such an incredible story. Full circle. Thank you so much.
FAFSA was like, wow, that was more difficult than a statistic class, but I conquered the challenge. Yes. Mhm.
Sorry,
So,
guys, I was on mute. Our next question is going to come from Lorely Castañeda. Lorely,
Yeah.
go ahead and ask your question.
hey,
The question is, basically tell me about your story.
the story is that since I was very little, I think I love to study. I was born with medical condition in my eyes, which it was very complicated because I couldn't see really well. So as a 4-year-old, imagine this getting into first grade with the biggest, thicker pair of glasses that you can ever imagine. And I love to study. And the the I was very blessed that I could see, and I was just had this dream that I needed to take advantage of the ability that I had to see while it lasted. And I would study and study. And as I grew up, I realized that I got some privilege. Let's say I would represent the high school or the school into, they would take us to a boys' school to participate in math tournaments. And that was a great way to meet people. So kind of the mischievous part. But as I continued to grow, I realized that money and having a career was what I wanted to, and that very few people look like me. There were very few women in Ecuador who were either directors or managers or vice presidents or business owners, and I couldn't understand why was that. And I thought, well, how can I do that? And I realized early enough that education was the only way to get yourself ahead and level the playing field if you don't come from a family of businesses or money, or if you're gonna win the lottery. So the only way that you can build your career with your own hands is to study. And I kept watching on TV and movies about the U.S. and universities in the U.S. And it was, I'm telling you, it was for me, it was like the Disney World of the education, right? I would look at the campus and I thought how beautiful those places are and all, and I wanted to be here. But the real story is the story of a struggle, and having your dream and having your goal clear and be determined, because the line, it was not from A to B, it was from, from right to left, top to bottom. My father died when I was 20 years old, and my mother took care of us, and then suddenly she was left with 3 kids and no job, and a very complicated business, financial situation. And I was even more convinced now that I had to continue to study. That was the only way to get out of this situation. And and when I moved to the U.S., people didn't know where Ecuador was, and my accent was different than everybody else. And I thought about it: how do I survive in a way that being in I had an accent, but sounded different than everybody else. I was Hispanic, but I looked different than everybody else, and I didn't have a community of people from Ecuador. And so I thought we need to build community, and doing what we're doing right now. There's nothing, than just sharing this knowledge with all of you and these experiences where it was very, very complex. People challenged my knowledge because it came from a country that they didn't know, and they challenged my expertise because I look different. And but I prevailed. I kept going and going and going because I wanted to have this global career that after 20 years, I worked 20 years for a global corporation, and step by step, one. And I think flexibility and adaptability were keys to the success. And when people ask me, how do you went from billing clerk in a corporation to 20 years later ended up working for the global board as a financial advisor and as a director of strategy, I said, listen, it's very simple. You look for the opportunity, look for what people are not doing, take all the projects that you can, even the most complicated ones, and then build your portfolio of knowledge and surround yourself with wonderful people that you can pick up the phone and call and say, hey, Sophia, how do you do this? Can you help me navigate? Asking questions. I think there's no magic secret. It's really to have a passion in your heart, to have the determination and the discipline of doing it and doing it. That overnight success takes normally 15 to 20 to 30 years of doing it.
Wow, that's amazing.
Awesome. So our next question is coming from Rebecca Vascoya.
Hi, Rebecca.
Rebecca, are you there? She did say she was driving.
I'm sorry, I was muted. I was wondering about your involvement in Latinas and youth and why it's important for you.
So remember, as I shared, that when I came here, I didn't know anybody. I couldn't find anybody from Ecuador. Very few people spoke Spanish, and I felt lonely, and I felt lost, and I felt not all my friends had the dream to study, and I thought this shouldn't be this difficult. If I would just have one person that I can call and ask, if one person will tell me what is FAFSA, where do I find it, where is the form, what are the questions, how do I enroll in a class? I didn't know there were used books and new books. I didn't know you can be part of there were so many things I didn't know. And one by one, I found my way to learn about them. So I thought, when I grow up, I want to be if somebody is like me, kind of lost and with questions, I want to be there for the person can come, pick up the phone and say, hey, Soledad, how is this? And maybe I make the difference in one person's life about that the difference between not finishing their education and finishing their education. Because if you finish your education, like, we can talk all day long about statistically how much money, not only how much money you're going to make, which is important, but also how much more fulfilled you're going to feel, and how you're going to have your own career, and how your family is going to be better, how you're going to elevate the community. So I think it's very important to mentor, and also in a way, all of you become my extended family, because I still don't have family in the U.S. So it could be my, kind of my cousins or my nieces or whatever. But also, I think it's very important when you want something, you show up. You are doing exactly what you're doing right now. You can be doing grocery shopping, and you're listening. You could be driving. You can be, because you have an interest. And if you show up and you are there, and then you raise your hand and you say, "Hey, Soledad, there's one person here who is in the finance career path. Do you know anybody who can do that?" And I can actively support you, to be the person who talks about, "Oh, I know this person who is looking for this." So open yourself to the world, because you never know. I have to know what you need. You have to know what I need. Maybe, I'm looking for a client. Maybe somebody who can use my services. So it's important to speak up and ask. And that's what we need. If we see other people doing it, hopefully you feel more comfortable doing it too.
Good, thank you. So our next question is going to come from Alejandra.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Hi, I'm sorry. First of all, I love your name, Soledad. My question is, what is your main goal and your purpose?
So I will split those the goals in personally and professionally, right? Um, Professionally, the goal is to elevate and improve and make STC Consulting a wonderful company that will be here for many years, 100 years, and can be known for having helped so many businesses improve their profit and productivity, and have given that knowledge to people that have worked so hard to uh, build their businesses, but are not really good in finance. So obviously, to be successful in my consulting practice, that's the goal, right? But the purpose, which is something that I really didn't get to think until later in life, I didn't know really there was a difference. I always thought of goals and targets and numbers and things like that. The purpose really for me at this stage in life is to elevate the financial literacy and the financial knowledge of the community. Because every time I give that knowledge, or I share that knowledge with a person, a community, a family, the whole community grows. And then when a woman, let's talk right now here, it's all about Latinas, right? When a woman in our culture is empowered and has the knowledge, then she brings other Latinas with her. And then we bring more people in our company. And then she has freedom of decision, freedom of action, freedom of deciding what to do with their kids, freedom of choice. And for me, money is wonderful, but having the freedom to decide what you want, when you want it, how you want it, and not being able to stay in situations that you don't want to be, it's probably it's the engine that moves all of this for me. I want women. It doesn't matter what you decide, as long as that is your decision. If you want to be a stay-home mom, it's wonderful. It's a blessed opportunity. If you want to be an executive, if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a musician, be whoever you want to be, because those are the skills and the gift that you came to this life with, and the community is waiting for those. But if you handle your money, if you're responsible for your money, if you don't give that power away to others, then you are in control and you are free. And I like freedom.
Yeah, who doesn't? Yeah, that's such a powerful thing to say.
Yes.
So our next question is coming from Deborah.
Hello, yes. My question is, how do you deal with the imposter syndrome?
Oh, our famous imposter syndrome. Who has had? We all, each person on this call have had that quietly. Uh, even this morning when I woke up and I thought, oh my goodness, I'm gonna speak with a group of phenomenal women. What will I say? Will I have any good words of wisdom to share? And even as you're listening to me and you think, oh well, Soledad has no. I This morning I was thinking, will I have enough to say that be important? And I want everyone to know that regardless of how old you are, there is there's always a sense inside of you that either you want to do wonderful and that's why you have that feeling inside of you, or and it's good. There's a part of the syndrome that pushes you to prepare to study because you have pride and you want to do good. Now, the negative part is when the syndrome consumes you and paralyzes you. So this is what I do when I'm about to speak in a big audience or have a big interview or go to do a big presentation, and my stomach is like, oh, it's making noises and my legs are shaking. I talk to the fear and I place the fear in my hand and I talk straight to the fear's eyes and I say, okay, fear, I know you're there. I know you came here because you're pushing the best out of me, but I'm gonna put you in my hand and I'm gonna close my hand and you're gonna come with me. I'm gonna take you and I'm gonna use you to get the best out of me. You are not gonna paralyze me. I'm gonna control you. And I talk to the I know it sounds crazy, but I talk to the fear directly and I said, okay, I know this, and even if I don't know, I always have the option to say, guys, I don't know, I will come back to you. But if I don't show up here, if I am not here in the battle, in the middle of the field, nobody will know who I am. So just be aware that we are enough, that we are perfect creatures. And I always think when I was born, and you can think of this, each one of your mothers were so happy to receive this perfect child, right? And if you ask my mom, or your mom, she's gonna say, "Oh, my daughter is so beautiful, so intelligent, so blah 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 blah," because they are perfect. They think we're perfect, right? So if I gonna trust my mom to think that I am a complete, healthy human being with all created um, to do great, and each one of you the same. So believe your mom and talk to the fear and don't let ever paralyze. The world need people like you. The world need us to talk about us and give the world what we came here to do.
Thank you for that. Our next question is coming from Catherine.
Mm-hmm.
Hi. Well, first, thank you for taking the time for doing this for us. I know we all appreciate it. My question is, what are your guiding principles that have taken you where you are?
Okay. So when you get out of the house and you're gonna go somewhere, what is probably the number one thing you do in the car? I think you bring your phone and you put the GPS, especially in Houston, right? In Houston, even if you know exactly where you're going, even if you're going to the Galleria and you know exactly the path, you put your GPS. And why is that? Because you don't want to drive where there's traffic, right? So I think in life it's the same. Your vision, your dream is like kind of your GPS. Like it takes you wherever you want to go. So let's say your dream is to work in the White House. I don't know, just in political science. Then I need to see myself. Also, I have a dream. I know it will not be tomorrow, but everything that I do is in connection to preparing me for that dream. And that's it. So it's like looking straight into the dream. If I wanted to study for my MBA, okay, I had to perfect my English skills. So I didn't know how I was going to get to the US, but one thing I knew that I had to study in English, regardless of the how. So even though it wasn't clear to me how I would go from Ecuador to the US and how will I pay, that those were things that I needed to worry later. So number one, prepare, have a dream, visualize a dream, see it in front of you. Why not, right? If you want to be a singer, if you want to play an instrument for the philharmonic, if you want to study to be had a PhD, right? Step by step, visualize a dream. And like people do vision boards, if that helps, if that works for you, just cut it, put it on the wall, and do it. People do it for diet, people do it for cars. Why don't you do it for your own dream when you want to be professionally? Number two, and I think 2020 has shown us to be one of the main skills, is you need to embrace uncertainty. Don't expect that today you are going to have everything secure, you know exactly where you're going, and because life doesn't work that way. Every time you make a decision, you're taking a risk. And you're going to take many decisions. Your sums are going to be 90% perfect, some are going to be 80% perfect. None of them will be 100% perfect because each one of them, every step that you take has a cost and has an award. So embrace uncertainty when you go into a job, when you take an opportunity. You may not know when you're going to end up, but for sure you're going to learn things that may get you closer to your vision that you have already you have visualized it and you have it next to you. Old-fashioned hard work, old-fashioned hard work and persistency, knowledge, um, expertise. So waking up every day, and if yesterday I studied something and I did okay, well, I read it again. Even if the exam passed, I read it again and I read it again. Persistency. I am not a student that sat down on the first pass. I got it. I had to study and study and study. I'm a student of three times. I had to read it first, kind of went over my head. I had to read it a second time and kind of, okay, I will write notes and stick it on the wall. And the third time, I will, use visuals. It's persistency. It's persistent. I'm going to tell you something. I think in life, persistency, I have some people that are brilliant and really good students, A students, but they do not have the persistency to persevere. I think persistency pays off at a higher rate than sometimes intelligence. I see very intelligent people like no, it's too difficult. I have to go too many times. I have people that keep going and going and going and going, and that's one of the skills that I think will help you get where you need to get. And I would say the last one is never, 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 never giving up. Never. Because you don't know how close you are from success. You may not see it, but you are like half inch from the door, but you're tired. So keep moving, take care of yourself, get some sleep, get some rest, have healthy habits, like physically take care of your body physically. Each one of you will decide what that is, but get some rest, eat well, surround yourself with good people, and never give up.
I think that is exactly what everybody in this Zoom needs to hear, especially as we're in the kind of the final or the second half of the semester. People are getting tired. A lot of folks in this room are probably really close to graduation and saying, how am I going to do it? And I think you just gave some really great advice there. So thank you for that. So before we go to Q&A, do you have any final thoughts or last words that you want to kind of wrap up with?
Yes, I want all of you to remember that doesn't matter where you came from, Ecuador or Cyprus. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can be 19, 20, 22, or 60 studying. It doesn't matter how the economical situation you had, of your parents were here alive or were watching you from heaven, or if the economical situation was difficult or your language wasn't good. It doesn't matter what that is. It's I think each one of you have the right and the obligation to achieve the life of your dreams, because each one of you have a unique treasure that we all as a society need. So we need from you, never give up. You are here to achieve your purpose and the life of your dreams. So keep working hard, and don't forget to ask for help. That's what we're here for. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for the questions.
Thank you so much. Let's give her a round of applause, virtual applause. How do we even do that?
I don't know.
Just know that everybody's clapping for you, even if it's the little hand.
Oh, I saw it. I saw the little hands there.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and open it up for Q&A. I just want to remind the students there's no question too big or too small. It's okay to ask, what is on your mind, and to kind of think through it together. This is your platform. This is your opportunity to, get your questions answered. So you can either raise your hand or chime in. You can put it in the chat if your microphone is having challenges. But do please participate and get your questions answered. So who would like to start? We have Gabriela. Great. Let's put something in the chat here. She says, how did you keep your motivation to continue your vision when life was happening around you? What a good question.
Yes. Well, life will always be happening around you. Always. So as I need to tell you that the day I graduated from college has been the happiest day of in my life. I got married later, and it was a happy day. So just to say, nothing against that, but graduation, it was the happiest day, because I felt that my father no longer being there, and that if I didn't get to this, I was going to have a completely different life. So I wrote it down and put it in a piece of paper on the wall of my bedroom, and I said, the difficulties were, I can sit here for hours and tell you, I didn't have a car. I had to walk to university 1 hour each way every day for 5 years. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's how determined I was. I never owned a new book. Never. I studied all my career based on photocopies, and I don't know if we ever have photocopies. So I would make a copies of a chapter and highlight it. So that complicated it was in the undergraduate. And here in the US, obviously things were much better, much more comfort. But I was living in Spain, and I had to drive from University of St. Thomas to Spring. I would get home almost at 11 p.m. and I will take a shower and start studying at midnight to 2 or 3 a.m. and we'll have to wake up again at 6 to go and work. And I was the financial controller of a big company that was very demanding. I just felt that one more day, it was one less day. I was getting closer and closer and closer. So I kept that eye on the target, I guess. And I would go minus 200 days, minus 199, minus 198. And I will give myself like kudos for like, okay, I went through 100 days, so I paid this class. So I will make the overwhelming goals in mini goals. So I'm gonna go one class. So it's a fire that it needs to burn your stomach. In through life, if I can say a word of wisdom, there will be many distractions. Even today, as I'm building my own company. There are many distractions. Girlfriends wanted to go and have a drink, and other, are going on spring break, and then you can go here, and then somebody's telling you that it's not possible, that you should stop that and do something else. I listen to the people that I admire and that I have seen them accomplishing things that I respect. Anybody else that comes and bothers me is like a mosquito, like me, like, okay, thank you so much. I respect your comment, but it comes from here and it goes over there, because I just stay laser focused in your goal, and know that everything that is worth it takes effort to get it. So nothing is going to come easy, and nothing that is worth it will be gained in 1 week or 1 month or 1 year. It's like a marathon. You are training to run. If you tell me today if I can run a marathon, I would die. I am not physically fit to do that. But maybe today I can walk 1 mile, and maybe tomorrow I can walk 2 miles. As a matter of fact, I'm very proud to report that I'm walking out 3 miles every morning under an hour. And I started with 15 minutes. That's all I could do. And it doesn't matter that it has taken me 2 to 3 years to get to that. Doesn't matter. I'm doing better and better every time. And that's the way life goes.
Good. So we have another question in the chat from Jasmine. Jasmine asks, Jasmine, is your microphone working? She says in the chat her microphone is having trouble. So Jasmine's question is, when you began your career, did you ever imagine that you would be where you are right now? And what is one decision you wish you had made differently?
First of all, the answer is absolutely not. My dream at 17, 18, my biggest dream was to graduate from college. I couldn't see anything after that. If I could just graduate, I was just fixated in graduation. And then I thought I was going to go and work for a bank and work there 30 years. I never in my wildest dream thought I will have a global career. I have lived in India, in Switzerland, and Germany, in Uruguay, and have worked in Mexico, Brazil, UK, etc. I didn't even know that existed as an option. I have never heard anybody doing that. And so no, I'm happy to report that either my imagination was small, or internet didn't exist, or I was the highest level that I could possibly imagine within my environment, right? So for all of you, you can see only what you can see, right? You see your neighborhood, you see your classmates, you see Houston, but maybe there's something for you in another country, in another environment. So keep pumping, because the world keeps expanding and expanding and expanding as you are forcing it through the boundaries of what is possible. And one thing that I wish I would have done earlier is I wish I would have taken better care of my body at a younger age. Meaning I had negotiations with my body that I wanted my body to be a working machine. I was like an assembly line working machine, and I didn't feed my body correctly. So for years, I lived with coffee and really not having good nutrition because I didn't have time to eat. And for years, I didn't sleep correctly because I didn't have time to sleep. And as you're younger, and right now, you probably will forget this comment because your body has the stamina now to bounce back. But as you get older and you do this to your body over and over and over again, then your body says, come on, give me a break. And it's not easy. So take care of your body as because as eating, sleeping, exercising, is not only work. And I'm finally I'm doing it now, but I wish I would have done it earlier, like um, work, play some sport or something like that, which I didn't do. But I do what I can now. So
Good. So does anybody have any other questions? Somebody want to unmute or put in the chat?
well, if I can say something, I think we have a couple of minutes. Latinas is the biggest group and the biggest growing group in the U.S. I don't have the statistics in front of me, but in a few years, the majority of the population of the U.S. will have a component of Latina blood, of coming from all countries, and we come in different waves. Like some people came from Cuba, now we have people from Venezuela, and also years that Ecuadorians came, and so forth and so on, right? And you have everything that you in this country to study. And if you're going to difficulties, pick up the phone and call someone that the university is here to support you, and you are the face of what the US will look like. Latinas are opening business at a number one rate in this country, and we are the engine of this country. And when a Latina woman progresses, everybody moves up. You, your kids, your friends, your so be very careful where you buy. Support the small businesses. If you have a friend who has a business, even if you don't buy from them, share their posting, like their postings, tell other people about them. If you have a multinational where you can go and buy, and then your friend has a boutique, go and buy the gift at the boutique where your friend is, creating earrings, or your friend has a construction company and she's the first one in the family. Let's support each other, because we are a ton of people, and if we all of us support each other in the communities, and we all are going to be much better in the future. And if I am in all social medias, if I can be of any help, contact me through LinkedIn. And just know that always someone is there waiting for you. Don't give up. I want all of you to graduate, and when you do so, send me a note. I graduated. I was in your speaking engagement that day. Please continue to do and organize your life, and go and get the dream that you have dreaming all this time.
Such good advice. We do have another question in the chat, and a couple more minutes. So Deborah asks, as a Latina woman in your industry, have you undergone exclusion in your workplace?
I have been, that's a great, thank you, Deborah. I have been asked that question many times, and either I ignore it, or I was too busy achieving my dreams. So I don't know. And this is a true, honest question. I know it exists, but every time something got in the way from between what I wanted to get, and I would sit down and I would analyze how could go around. Like maybe my Ecuadorian blood, like how could go around this? I want that position, or I want that project, and they're not including me. And I will go and knock on the door, and we go, okay, here I am. Like really, like be crazy, right? In a good sense, right? And go and ask, and say sometimes, and say, I want that project. What do I need to do to get that project? I want to, I know you're working on getting a group of people who are going to design the new something, right? And you go on and tell people, we need to speak up and say, you know what, how will I know that you wanted to be there? Sometimes we can do something to affect that. So speak up, say it again, and if they don't listen, say it one more time. And if they don't listen, say it one more time. And if that doesn't work, start calling all your girlfriends around and say, okay, how can you get me here? I need to be here. I want to be here. And if after that it doesn't work, keep looking for plans B around. So be flexible. Um, you have no control over what other people will do, but you have all the control over what you can do, with your time, with your passion, with who you call. Volunteer. Let's say you want a project and they don't want, didn't think of you. Go and tell your boss, you know what, if you have anything in this area, I'm willing to help you. I take some work home, and but in exchange, next time you have a possibility, give it to me. So move around. Nobody's gonna knock on your door and say, this is for you. Just just be creative, be present. So when the opportunity comes, all they can think of is your name. You are the best candidate for that.
Yeah. I'd like to ask a question on behalf of some of the upper class women here who are getting ready to transition into internships or to careers or, their first professional experience. So I wonder if you could kind of reflect on your transition from college into the workforce and think of, what were the main challenges that you faced and how did you overcome those challenges in that transition?
I didn't have a classical transition, Bonnie, because my first job was when I was 17. So by the time I went to what it was called pre-universitario, I didn't, we didn't have a test. We had to attend classes, and then it was 1,200 applicants, only 120 positions. Mm-hmm. So I was already working, so I didn't have that. And we in Ecuador live at home with mom and dad. We don't live like sometimes here in the US, you go to a different place. But I can tell you, as I transition, I always look for a person that look friendly and kind of start asking questions about how. Can you tell me here how, what people do when you want to do this? And they will tell you, listen carefully, right? And find one or two people, see how people behave with other people, and go and ask. And I said, I'm new here. I really want to, build a career. What do you recommend? What do you suggest? And write it down. And then you make a decision if that recommendation is right for you. Always be very professional. Always work with the truth, even when you make a mistake. See, it's very easy to say, guys, I thought I was doing it right, but I made a mistake. Please accept my apologies. I will fix it. Tell me how to fix it. I fix it. That is way easier than to say, I don't know, like blah, blah, blah. You get yourself into trouble. So be honest, be professional, be respectful, be inclusive, meaning for me, it was really incredible when I came to the US, I have never seen people from other faith, for example. I have never seen people from many races that I saw here. I've never seen somebody wearing a cowboy hat, right? So it was I was like, I'm boots. And it was like, wow. So be very inclusive, of people that look different like you do. We all deserve respect, and try to figure out what is the work that needs to be done to go to the next level. And work with that. Just and never forget that the number one thing is people, contact, relationships. Build build real, honest relationships. Give something, and life will have a way to find you, to get something back in return.
Great. Thank you so much. If there's any other questions, let's stick around for a couple minutes and see if you guys can have informal conversations. But I do want to have you guys thank and give a big round of applause for Soledad for sharing with us for the past hour or so. and for sharing her wisdom and her insights and her experiences with all of us. So thank you so much for that. This was really incredible.
Thank you. And all of you, I'm going to leaving you with homework. If you have LinkedIn, reach out to me, connect through LinkedIn, because it's all about building that network, even today. And if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, well, you're going to start one now. So we start building these, even you're in college. Who knows? 5 years from now, we run into each other into a business meeting, right? So start building connections, say something about you, and it's all about, that group, the support group, and your hard work and your integrity.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you all.
That was fantastic.
Thank you, Bonnie.
And I also wanted to say thank you. I feel just incredibly blessed to have listened to your story and to hear all your insights. It was really enlightening.
Thank you. Is that Rebecca?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you. It's true. Hard, but here we are.
Yeah.
Thank you, Soledad.
Thank you. Thank you, all of you. Good luck studying. You are almost there.
Thank you.
I also just wanted to say thank you so much for the advice. I think I really needed to hear that.
Oh.
I'm not around a lot of, like for me, I'm growing up or still growing up and living at home, but then my father's mentality sticks in where the woman, just get married, don't worry about anything else. And it's like, I'm trying to graduate to prove to him that I can do something else, I can do better. And hearing the words of advice, how you just keep being and persistent and keep going at the goal that you had in the vision, ultimately is just another testimony that, hard work does pay off. And
Yes.
I'm so glad you gave us the advice. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriela. I'm going to share something with you, something private. My father didn't want me to go to the university also. Okay? Because the classes were at night, and he didn't think a woman should be in the street at night. And and more things. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, but you know what I'm saying, right? And I we argue, and I said absolutely not. And he said, well, then you're gonna have to pay for it. And I said, okay. And that's how I found my first job. I remember, well, in the country I was, the currency was different. It was called sucres, and I think I had like something. I would get paid, and I had like $50 left or $5. I don't remember, nothing. And as I kept moving up in the middle of the career, he knew I was serious. The sad is that he died when I was in third year of college, and he never saw me graduating. But that was even more important for me to graduate, because not only kind of in a way it proved, even though in heaven I will, like it proved not only that wrong, but also that it was the right decision, because I became the breadwinner of my family at 20. So not only was I was dedicated to study, and I was not wasting my time in other youth activities, but also it was needed. So you are, but not only to prove to him, but this is the gift for you, to the family. So keep going. You're doing the right thing. It's very honorable to study, and with all the knowledge that you're gaining, you will be able to give back to your family too.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna piggyback on what Gabriela said. I also, thanks again for being here. I know you're doing it because you want to as well. And it's funny how you can actually relate to different types of people, just because I, on the other end, never had a father. It was only my mom. And in 2017, I actually lost my mom. So, you know, like hearing you, how you started and where you at now really motivates myself. And I'm pretty sure like other ladies here, because, you know, 2019, like I never quit school. You know, that was one thing my mom would always say, like, keep going, keep going. But like you say, like being in this country all alone, like I don't have like 0 relatives here. So I just kind of like had I guess you can say a mental breakdown in 2019. Like I withdrew from school for a couple of months and I was like, I just can't do this. I can't pay. I can't keep going. But I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to take a detour, but get back in there. Right now, I should be graduating with my bachelor's in December.
Oh.
So, you know, we're keep going, and hearing other people with similar stories that, you know, started struggling and not, you know, like any lovey-dovey things. Hey, you know, just go. It really motivates me to keep going. And honestly, like, you're not asking me, but last week, I just kind of was like, I just don't know. I just don't think I can, you know, keep working, school, taking care of my house. I have 2 dogs that I adore. But hearing you, like, it just came in the perfect timing, to be honest.
Thank you, Deborah. See, when I moved to the U.S., my mom was still, well, she's still alive, right? But she didn't know the U.S. She didn't know, you know, I couldn't ask her, where do I go? So, and something has to give up. So if your house is not clean, forget about your house, right? Forget about the house. If you, not everything looks like this. So there were days that I, you know, had the ponytail and I had nothing left, nothing left. But that didn't matter. I had maybe just, how will I finish this month? But there's always, I believe that there's a friend, an angel that comes somehow and push you a little more. So you're almost there. And if I can help you in any way, reach out to me. And Bonnie has my contact information. And the same for you, Gabriela, or anybody in this call. Just, you are almost there. And uh, things that can wait a little bit, even if your house is not clean, even if, you know, the cooking is not great, just you're almost at the door. So just jump and grab the door. That's it. That's all you have to do now.
That's true. I really appreciate it, and thank you. And I learned how to cook. Like I did not know how to cook at all. So it took me like I want to say like a year to actually, for I guess to say my cooking, it's, you know, Hispanic worthy cooking. Because at first it was just really bad. But like you said, we learned.
Then I will go to your house because I never learned. And and I am an expert on salads and sandwiches. But anyway, you know, yeah, you couldn't
Anytime.
you couldn't do all. So I chose one, and now I do a little better. But yes, just this will irradiate in all aspects of your life. The people that you meet, the jobs that you have, the opportunities that you have. That even if right now money's short and you're physically tired, just push yourself a little more, sleep one day and push. You're gonna be there.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm Catherine, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I got three.
Good. Well, thanks so much, guys. This was really great. I'm so glad you guys got to stick around and chit chat and everything. And thank you so much again, Soledad, for joining us and for sharing with us this time. And it's really, really powerful. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it, ladies. Have a wonderful weekend and reach out if you can. Otherwise, we will all be celebrating your successes. Okay?
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.